So a little review. Nice to do a little review. There were a few questions that came up, and I did a little research, and some people helped with some research, and it's to share some of this research. There was a question that Radhika asked 2 classes ago about something that she heard long ago, and is it true? That's what she heard long ago was when Vasudeva was carrying Krishna across the Jamuna, Krishna slipped from his hand, fell into the river Jamuna, and then the purpose of that, the transcendental purpose of that mistake or that error, that misfortune, was the Vasudeva Krishna stayed in the Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, who never leave Vrindavan, manifested, and Swayam Bhagavan Krishna was carried to the side of Mother Yashoda. And then in reverse, when Akrura left with Krishna and Balaram, when they went to the river Jamuna to take their bath, when Akrura took his bath, there was the switcheroo. That is, Krishna stayed in Vrindavan. Krishna stayed in Vrindavan because he never leaves Vrindavan. And Vasudeva Krishna, his expansion, went to Dwarka. Went to Mathura. So the question was, have you heard that? So I heard it, but is there a scriptural reference for it? Well, go ahead, quickly. And I consulted several learned persons, only one has responded. The one that responded was Hari Parshad Prabhu, that knows like scripture like the back of his hand. And he doesn't know of any reference like that. But there was something that I found, and I have something to add to what I found. Krishna Vijaya by Gunaraj Khan. And they're like, who's Gunaraj Khan anyway? So there's some of you will have received or will receive or something, a PDF on the life of Gunaraj Khan. And the Gunaraj Khan was a title given to him by the ruling Muslim ruler who liked his writing so much. It wasn't really his name, but it was like an Islamic title or something, Khan. And he wrote commentary on the entire 10th canto and the entire 11th canto, and this little PDF that you'll receive. Lord Chaitanya liked his writing very much. So he had received knowledge from Haridas Thakur. And, transcendental knowledge. Who's not a scholar, but he told the entire 10th canto, 11th canto in commentary. So that's very nice. And here's an excerpt from his writing. Vasudeva placed the child Krishna in a basket. There's the basket. And put him on his head and left for Gokula. So it's the journey across the river Jamuna from Mathura to Gokula. He looked as if he was carrying the moon. Goddess Mahamaya walked ahead. This is cut and paste translation from his writing, Gunaraj Khan's Krishna Vijaya. Goddess Mahamaya walked ahead of Vasudeva in the form of a she-jackal. And the serpent Vasuki spread his hood over Krishna. Vasudeva became very frightened when he saw the huge waves of Yamuna. Just then, a voice from the sky said, "Do not be afraid. Look how even a jackal is crossing the river." This assurance made Vasudeva somewhat pacified, and so he slowly entered into the waters of the Yamuna. At that moment, Lord Govinda, remembering something, remembered something from the past and suddenly slipped out of Vasudev's hands and fell into the water. Now, it doesn't say there was a switcheroo. Doesn't say that. And then, as you may recall from yesterday evening, I found, according to Jiva Goswami's Gopal Champu, not at all the case was there a switcheroo, or he didn't say there wasn't. He said that you need something? Okay. Looks like you're driving your car or something. You sure everything's all right?
What did you get me for?
Here comes the car key. We'll cooperate. We don't want to see you in any anxiety. This is Vaikuntha, right? Okay. So Nandi Mukhi texted me. She heard this part of the class yesterday, and then this morning or this afternoon she sent 2 references where Prabhupada speaks of the same thing. One of them is Uddhava and Akrura. No, Uddhava and Uddhava and Vidura, thank you. Uddhava and Vidura. So this is Canto 3, Chapter 2, and the same thing. So they're meeting in Vrindavan. Vidura finds Uddhava, and he asks him all about Krishna. And Uddhava enters into a mood of trance. He's speechless in meditating upon Krishna. Then he speaks these wonderful verses about Krishna. Aho Bhakti Yakti. So who can be more merciful than Krishna? And one of the verses he speaks is on this topic. Vasudeva was bound to deliver Krishna into the hands of Kamsa because he had promised to turn over all his children. Now this is Prabhupada's purport. But out of great love for Krishna, he broke his promise. And the Lord was very pleased with Vasudeva for his transcendental mentality, transcendental trickery, right? He did not want to disturb the intense affection of Vasudeva, and thus he agreed to be carried by his father to the house of Nanda and Yashoda. This is Prabhupada's purport. And just to test the intense love of Vasudeva, Lord Krishna fell down in the waters of the Yamuna. While his father was crossing the river, Vasudeva became mad after his child as he tried to recover him in the midst of the rising river. Now, the comment of Nandi Mukhi is Prabhupada didn't give an explanation of what's this all about. Apparently, there's some reference, and without making the specific reference, Prabhupada is referring to it. So the PDF that you should have received says Lord Chaitanya liked very much his writing. Apparently it was in Bengali, and commentary on the whole 10th canto. And so Prabhupada was familiar with it. And without making reference to this particular devotee, Gunaraj Khan, he just made reference to the pastime. And then there's another place that comes right and in Canto 1, Chapter 19, Maharaj Parikshit has been cursed, and he decides he'll turn over his kingdom to his eldest son, Janamejaya, and he goes to the bank of the Jamuna. Now, there's a commentary where Prabhupada says, the Sanskrit speaks of the Ganges And some people say the Jamuna, it makes more sense to him, Jamuna, because Jamuna flows right by the capital of Mathura, or Hastinapur, excuse me. So then, now here's the commentary. It's not changing. Well, I'll read it. You can't see it, but I'll read it anyways. This is Prabhupada's purport 119.6. 119.6. Maharaj Parikshit is going to retire, has retired. The Lord sanctified the river Yamuna from the beginning of his transcendental pastimes. There we go. In the world. While his father Vasudeva was crossing the Yamuna with the baby, Lord Krishna, for a safe place in Gokula on the other bank of the river from Mathura, the Lord fell down into the river, and by the dust of his lotus feet, the river at once became sanctified. It is especially mentioned herein that Maharaj Parikshit took shelter of that particular river, which is beautifully flowing, carrying the dust of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, mixed with the tulsi leaves. Lord Krishna's lotus feet are always besmeared with tulsi leaves, and thus, as soon as his lotus feet contacted the water of the Ganges and the Yamuna, the rivers became at once sanctified. So there's two references in Prabhupada's writings where he makes reference to Krishna slipping from his hand, but there's no reference that's, at least common lore when I was a younger devotee, it was a switcheroo. Vasudeva Krishna became, then which got exchanged for Swayam Bhagavan Krishna. Clear? And there's this PDF, and here's a little further detail from Chaitanya Charitamrita of who Gunaraj Khan is. This is Adi Leela chapter 10, Adi Leela chapter 10, verse 48. One sub-branch of Haridas Thakur consisted of the residents of Kulinagram. The most important among them was Satyaraj Khan, or Satyaraj Vasu, who was a recipient of the mercy of Haridas. Now, Satyaraj Khan is the son of Gunaraj Khan. So his actual birth name is Vasu, but he was given this title Khan by the Muslim ruler in his region. He really liked his writing, so he gave him an honorific title. Haridas Thakur lived for some time during the Chaturmasya period in the village named Kulinagram, where he chanted the holy name, the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and distributed his mercy to the descendants of the Vasu family. So Satyaraj Khan is a celebrated person. One of the things he did is he was assigned to bring the rope for pulling Jagannath's cart during the Rath Yatra festival. Satyaraj Khan. So his name I'm familiar with from Chaitanya Charitamrita, but Gunaraj Khan, so I found something about Gunaraj Khan. He received his knowledge from Haridas Thakur. And then Manasi Ganga had some question about Vasuki. Like, who's Vasuki? So, of snakes, I am Vasuki. That's one of the chapter 10 Bhagavad Gita passages. So we know about Vasuki from the churning of the milk ocean. That was the system, and then the Mandara mountain and Matsya, Kurma at the bottom, and Lord Vishnu at the top, and so it's Vishnu, Vishnu, Vishnu. the churning of the milk ocean. And here's one reference from Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11. Arjuna sees everything in the universe. Therefore he sees, he lists a bunch of things he sees, and including the celestial serpent upon which the Garbhodakshi Vishnu lies in the lower regions of the universe. This snake bed is called Vasuki. There are also other snakes known as Vasuki. It's right in the Bhagavad Gita purport. Universal form. And here's a reference from Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the last review slide. This is 5th Canto, chapter 24. It's the last verse in the chapter describing the lower planetary systems. Okay. Below Mahatala is Rasatala. And below that is Patala, where the serpent Vasuki lives with his associates. Beneath Rasatala is another planetary system known as Patala, or Naga Loka, where there are many demoniac serpents, the masters of Nagaloka, such as, gives many names, the chief amongst them is Vasuki. They are all extremely angry. And they have many hoods, 5, 7, 10, 100, 1,000. These hoods are bedecked with valuable gems, and the light emanating from the gems illuminates the entire planetary system of Bila Swarga. So there's some references on who is Vasuki. Apparently has a few personalities, a few serpents have the name Vasuki. But it's not the same as Anantashesh. So now we're back to part 3. So the scene at the end of part 2 was Vasudeva has seen this four-armed form, etc., etc., and with all the symbols of Vishnu and all the decorations of Vishnu in his ornaments and bangles and helmet and all those things. And he offers prayers to the personality of Godhead, and then his mood shifts to the parental affection. And the parental affection mood is where it ends. And he is concerned that Kamsa is wicked. And he's already killed 6 children, and he wants Krishna to not be seen by Kamsa, because it'll come very soon when he hears that the 8th child of Devaki has been born. So now, this is beginning, Devaki, she takes over. So she's in the spotlight, and she has greater fear of Kamsa. And Devaki is a diplomatic lady. She tries the front door, she tries the back door, she tries the chimney, she tries the window, she tries different ways to get Krishna to not be seen by Kamsa. She's very gifted. Having seen that her child had all the symptoms of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it's very irrational. She sees that he's the personality of Godhead and she wants to hide him, because Kamsa might come and do something bad. It's irrational. But she can be irrational in love for Krishna, that's okay. Devaki, who was very much afraid of Kamsa and unusually astonished, began to offer prayers to the Lord. Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur's commentary. Since it is well known that devotees bring even the Lord under control with praise, I will eulogize him. She wants to control him. After making him submissive, I will express my desires and be firm in my speech. Vishwanath's commentary. She's not saying that. Deliberating in her mind in this way, in 4 verses, Devaki said, "Oh, Parameshwara, Supreme Controller, although our intense fear keeps increasing in every moment, you have no trace of fear." So she's flattering him. I mean, diplomatically. It's truthful. Devaki informed him, Baladev Vidyabhusan writes, "Although I am afraid upon seeing you who are fearless, I am breathing at ease." So the next verse. Sri Devaki said, "There are different Vedas, some of which describe you as imperceivable through words and the mind, yet you are the origin and the cause of all causes." This is part of the verse. So there's a long series of commentaries on these are fundamental, Upanishadic kind of things. You cannot be seen, yet you're the origin and the cause of everything. And then the second half of the same verse, you are Brahman, full of effulgence, like the sun. They're in the prison house, and the prison house is lit up like the sun just came in, the prison house. And she can perceive the light of the sun. She can perceive that her child is not ordinary. You are different from the light of Brahman and Paramatma, yet you're not different from them. So then comes a long series of commentaries. It's worth it if you want to go through very tedious Brahmano hi pratishtaham and so many other verses that are establishing the transcendental feature, the transcendentalness of the form of Krishna. You are Brahman, full of effulgence. But you're different from the Paramatma and Brahman feature. You have no material cause and no material desires. You are free from change and deviation. Thus the Vedas say that you are the substance, meaning Sat. So she's acknowledging this is her son, and she's addressing her son in these ways. And she has a motive, a motherly motive. It's a transcendental motherly motive. She wants Kamsa to not see him because she's afraid. She just lost 6 children, Kamsa, before their eyes. The description is, each child that was born, that many things happened. His advisors said, don't give the child back. Who knows? He says the 8th child, but it could be the first child. So he took the child by the legs and smashed the child against the rocks in the prison cell right before their eyes, and 6 times. So she doesn't want him to see. He doesn't want Kamsa to see child number 8. Even child number 8 is the personality of Godhead, and she is recognizing. Look what she's saying. You are directly the origin of all Vedic statements, and by understanding you, one gradually understands everything. So she understands. It's similar to, but different from, the mix of Vasudeva, the realization of his divinity, and then the glorification that goes along with the realization of his divinity. And then the pendulum swings the other direction, and that's his parental affection. What's up? Fantastic. Oh, you're so cooperative. Thank you all very much. Wait till prasadam time, more people will come. So this is, she like Vasudeva, she knows the philosophy. She's not a scholar. She's the wife of a Kshatriya, so she has that spirit, but she also has some fundamental understanding of scripture. Where's he going? He doesn't drive yet. Anyway, Hare Krishna. She has both features, the transcendental personality, Godhead realization, and then her similar to but different than how her husband is feeling, Vasudeva. She has her trepidation of wicked Kamsa. Your form, manifested as your own bodies, abodes, devotees, associates, your form, rupam, is of the transcendental realm, universal realm of transcendence. It has nothing to do with the material universe. This is commentary. Therefore, it is desireless, or niriham. That his form is niriham, without material desire, because inherently his form is fully complete already. He doesn't need anything, doesn't want anything that he doesn't have, because he is everything. Everything is within him. There's no want, no need, no problem. Or nirham can mean, Vishwanath again, you are the person who takes away material desires from the devotee's heart and gives that devotee the desire to attain the Lord. So that's one of this is Devaki, according to Vishwanath, flattering, speaking kind words so she can then say what she really wants. After millions of years, next verse, after millions of years, at the time of cosmic annihilation, when everything is annihilated by the force of time, you alone remain, and you are known as Shesha. So now comes different meanings of the word Shesha. And right within the verse, as you see on the screen, Bhavan Eka Shishate Shesha Sangya. So there's different meanings. One of the meanings is here. Oops. During cosmic annihilation, 5 primary elements merge into Adi Bhuta. So this is a little bit of, the material creation feature. So she knows her stuff. And of course, our acharyas, this is Vishwanath, he knows his stuff. They merge into Adi Bhutam. The gross merges into the subtle, or ahankara. In turn, ahankara merges into the vyakta, or mahatattva. Mahatattva merges into avyakta, and then only you remain. So it's the winding, the withdrawal of the creation, cosmic annihilation. That's what this verse is addressing. So you're the foundation, you're the source of everything, and when everything is withdrawn, you alone remain. You're actually, everything is an extension of you, and you can extend it and you can withdraw it. And here you are, my son. Those things mentioned in the previous verse, forms of Narayan, the Brahmajyoti, the Dham, they also remain. So when everything material is withdrawn, the spiritual remains. The Lord's associates, place and cloth, are all eternal. You are called Shesha because you remain. Avishesha. This is the way of deriving the name Shesha. So that these are our acharyas that are taking the words of the author, Vyasadeva, and looking through a magnifying glass at the words. And there can be different meanings, legitimate, valid meanings that are appropriate for the context, and they're just enjoying the possibilities of what could be expressed by the speaker. In this case, it's Devaki. Here's the next verse. Oh, inaugurator of the material energy, this wonderful creation works under the control of powerful time, which is divided into seconds, minutes, hours, and years. This element of time, which extends for many millions of years, is but another form of Lord Vishnu. Here's a continuation of 26. For your purposes, you act as the controller of time. Let me offer my full surrender unto your lordship. Now, Krishna says, time I am, right? You sure? Where does he say that? Bhagavad Gita? He says in Bhagavad Gita, time I am, the destroyer of all things. Time I am, destroyer of all things. So he's the control. He is time, and he's the controller of time. So that means there's Kala Shakti, and then there's Kala, the person. So they're different, but they're not different. We're juggler, right? Different, but not different. But it's the teaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's the teaching of the Bhagavatam. And here's a little detail about the illustration that was chosen. You see that dark thing in the middle? That's the prison house of Kamsa. Remember seeing that yesterday or the day before yesterday? That's the prison house of Kamsa. And Vasudeva and Devaki are greeting Krishna in the prison house of Kamsa. And up in the sky is the moon. But when did Krishna appear? Ashtami. You know the meaning, right? 8th day. Balaram Purnima, you know that meaning, full moon. And count 8, you get the Ashtami. So after Balaram Purnima comes the Ashtami. But there's a full moon. Because when Krishna appears, everything is adjusted. The Ashtami becomes a full moon. And notice, there's lotuses. And it's midnight. What happens to lotuses when the sun sets? They close. And when it's nice to watch it. I mean, when the sun rises, they open, and the fragrance comes, and the whole thing. And then, as the sun sets, they close. There's this nice description that bumblebees sometimes, to catching the honey of the lotuses, they get caught inside the lotus when the lotus closes, and they can't get out. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Until the sun comes. But when Krishna appeared, there was lotuses in full bloom. Be auspiciousness. And there's verses that are saying all these things. And there's bumblebees buzzing around. And you know, they're to catch the nectar from the flowers. And so it's like daytime, although it's nighttime when Krishna appears, because everything is made auspicious. That's the meaning behind the image on the left. After the influence of time was mentioned, the independence of time is refuted by Devaki, meaning time is under Krishna's control. She rejects fear of time and surrenders to the Lord's lotus feet out of fear of Kamsa. Because fear destroys things. And there's fear when there will be destruction. But she's afraid of Kamsa. Jiva Goswami explains, time, which starts with seconds and ends with years, which rotate to make the lifetime of Brahma, and by which the universe moves, is said to be the movement of you, Kala Shakti, the wheel of time, who are of that fearless nature. Therefore I surrender unto you, O fearless one, and I feel protected by you, the fearless one. Vishwanath comments, Devaki prays, those who take shelter of you lotus feet become fearless. What to speak of those who meet you face to face? As she's doing. And again, Vishwanath, wandering throughout the universe, one cannot become free from fear. By great mercy, this word yudrichchaya is worth spending a little bit of time on. One receives devotion to you, and thereby attains your lotus feet, which act like Dhanvantari, the Lord of medicine. By this medicine, a person becomes healthy. The disease of material existence is cured by the medicine of Krishna's lotus feet. Krishna's lotus feet act like Dhanvantari's medicine. It cures the material disease. It cures material existence. It's potent medicine. And how does that happen? By mercy. And how does that mercy happen? Gosh. We have extra sound effects today. Do we need a new sound system? Huh?
Change the cable.
Is that it? Just change the cable?
Yeah.
Not now. We're doing a room full of shocked people hearing it. Okay. There's many verses of the Bhagavatam that in poetic language say the same thing. It's not a new thing, it's just saying the same thing. So, next verse. Hard to stay on track. No one in this material world can become free from the four principles of birth, death, old age, and disease, even by fleeing to various planets. This is a nice illustration. You know, birth, death, disease, and old age depicted in all of these paintings, little paintings. And continuing, but now that you have appeared, my Lord, death is fleeing in fear of you, and the living entities have obtained shelter at your lotus feet. By your mercy, are sleeping in full mental peace. Look at those people sleeping in full mental peace at the feet of Krishna. Even it's a fearful place, the material world, because they're at Krishna's lotus feet. And she wants to be like them. She wants to be fearless, especially of Kamsa. But she's afraid of Kamsa. So her solution is, don't let him see you. Make yourself invisible. Somehow. No one qualified with death, this is Jiva Goswami's commentary. No one qualified with death can attain freedom from fear of death. A lot of sound effects. You are the best of all people, since you are the controller of death. Attaining your lotus feet, one becomes fearless and tranquil, and she wants. He goes on. Death flees from your lotus feet or from the peaceful person. mention of the lotus feet suggests that the Lord is the highest goal. Just by his influence, fear disappears. She wants that. She's afraid, and she wants fearlessness, as he is fearless. Because you dispel all the fear of your devotees, I request you to save us and give us protection from the terrible fear of Kamsa. Now, in the painting, there's Narada Muni coming before Kamsa. This is you can tell that the nature of the art is a Pushkar painting. It's very colorful, and he's coming to inform Kamsa, hey, Kamsa, you know that eighth child of Devaki? He appeared. You better go find him. You protect your backside, Kamsa. Because Narada wants to hasten the pastimes. He knows the pastime. He knows that Krishna cannot be destroyed. Kamsa can be destroyed. He wants Kamsa to get destroyed. So he's inciting Kamsa to action. And Kamsa looks shocked. What? The eighth child of Devaki has been born? So then he goes on this campaign to find him. And there's terrible fear, because Kamsa's a terrible person. Your form as Vishnu, notice the painting, this is Kamsa's prison. They got a special room up there in Kamsa's prison, and they're having this little conversation with Vasudeva Krishna. Your form as Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is appreciated by yogis in meditation. Now that's going to the Paramatma feature, but they're speaking to their son. Please make this form invisible to those with material eyes, like Kamsa. Please don't let him see you. It's a motherly affection, but it's inspired by the fear of Kamsa. It's paraphrasing Vishwanath. Devaki is saying, you are fearless, and your devotees are fearless. Then why, O Lord, do you keep your mother and father in fear? Krishna, oh mother, I've appeared to kill Kamsa. Bring Kamsa here, and I will kill him before your eyes. Fearing such talk from Krishna, Devaki, out of motherly affection, thinking that her small child could not kill Kamsa, and rather worrying about harm coming to the child from Kamsa, she becomes more fearful. Her body begins shaking, getting the rasa of motherhood through Vishwanath commentary. It is not suitable to follow the strategy of showing fear before my child. This is Devaki's inner contemplations. Even if he's showing himself as God, again, the irrational part. Rather, using sweet words is a better policy. Thinking this way, she begins to reason in another way in order to get her child to change his form. Like, poof, disappeared. If he can, he's shape changing and he's all powerful, and it's quite irrational. Oh, Master, this splendid form, which is the object of meditation, should not be visible to human eyes. Like Kamsa. To hide the unique signs of his hands, Krishna is deciding, his hands and his feet have marks. The Lord folded his delicate petal-like fingers into his lotus palm. At that time, Krishna laid back with his eyes closed. The end of the dialogue. So now we're going to shift gears. Now, then part 4, we'll hear what happens next. But we're going to fast forward to Gokula. If I was that small, I'd be pretty restless too. Okay, so a decision was made. We're going to share now some very wonderful poetic language that comes from Ananda Vrindavan Champu. In case you don't know what Ananda Vrindavan Champu is, I'm going to introduce you to what it is. It's a book written by Kavi Karnapur. Who's Kavi Karnapur? Not a really well-known author. He's not like one of the six Goswamis, but he's Kavi. He's a learned poet, and he considered very authoritative by Gaudiya Vaishnavas. For example, one of his books, well-known books, is Gaura Gunadesh Dipika. It's all the personalities in Gaura Leela. Who are they in Krishna Leela? You know, for example, Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself. Nityananda is Balaram himself. You know, then we go the Panchatattva. Each one of the Panchatattva members in Gaura Leela have their place in Krishna Leela. And then there's nobody, without exception, all the devotees in Lord Chaitanya's pastimes are someone in Krishna's pastimes. And it's a book that details who's who. It's very fascinating, very detailed. You know, Super Soul must have given him those realizations because they're very, very detailed. So another book that he wrote is Ananda Vrindavan Champu. And it's the same Champu style. Champu is a term for a certain type of literature. And Jiva Goswami wrote a Champu called Gopal Champu, and then he wrote a book on how you write a Champu. He's such a scholar. It's one of his writings. And Kavi Karnapur was younger than Jiva Goswami, and he wrote a Champu, Ananda Vrindavan Champu. And Ananda Vrindavan Champu, it's retelling of the Krishna's pastimes in a summary way, in a certain mood. And he has a very sweet mood in narrating Krishna's pastimes, and that's what we're going to hear. So we're shifting from the prison house of Kamsa. So get ready for a shift. We're going on the other side of the river Jamuna, where Mother Yashoda is giving birth to twin children. Mother Yashoda gave birth to twin children. You know who they were? One of them was Krishna. Who was the other one? Yogamaya, right. Yogamaya. Yogamaya? What's Yogamaya? Do you know what Yogamaya is? No idea? You're very patient. Yogamaya is one of Krishna's, Maya means his energy, Yogamaya, the energy by which Krishna fulfills his desires. When he wants, he just asks Yogamaya. And sometimes he doesn't even have to ask her, he just desires it and she knows what he wants. Here's a nice example. It has to do with Krishna's appearance. In the seventh child of Kamsa killed the first 6 children. Yes? Brutal. Held them by the legs, smashed them on the rock right in the prison cell, and left. Brutal. Died. So child number 7 is in the womb of Devaki. And 3 months into the pregnancy of Mother Devaki holding in her womb Balaram, Krishna summoned Yogamaya, his energy to fulfill his desire. I have some service for you. Yes. What is it? 3 services. Great. What is it? First service. In the womb of Devaki is Balaram. Sankarshan. He's very strong, but you can do it because I will empower you to do it. Transfer him from the womb of Devaki to the womb of Rohini. Right? Rohini gave birth to Balaram. Yes? Mother. Rohini Nandana. So that was the first service. Second service. I'll appear as the 8th child of Devaki, and I want you to appear at the same time that I appear from the womb of Yashoda. That's the next service. And when you're born, Kamsa is going to come. No. A plan will be made to bring you to Kamsa so Kamsa can kill you. But don't worry, Kamsa can't kill you because you're my Yogamaya potency. You're eternally situated as my Yogamaya potency. But he'll come to take you away and try to kill you. And when he tries to kill you, you'll fly in the air, you'll chastise Kamsa, call him a big fool, and then you'll be spread throughout the land, known by different names. Durga. You've heard the name. Yeah, of course. So Durga is a reflection or an expansion of a shadow of Yogamaya. Prabhupada gives this example. It's a nice example. Electricity is one energy. But electricity can be used to make things hot. It can be used to make things cold. But it's still electricity. So Krishna has an energy, Yogamaya. And Yogamaya can be used to facilitate Krishna's activities or conceal Krishna's activities. And people get covered by Mahamaya, they can't see Krishna's activities properly. They'll see something else, but they won't see it properly. So that's Yogamaya. So Yogamaya appeared along with Krishna, 2 children. She gave birth to twins. You'll see some paintings shortly. So when she gave birth, they were twins. It's a detail. You'll hear more about it on Janmashtami. So when Vasudeva brought the 8th child of Devaki over across the side of the Jamuna River, we saw that he's carrying in a basket and all that. He took the child and brought the child by the side of Yashoda. She was asleep. And he only saw the female child. There was a male child also, but he didn't see the male child because Yogamaya had, the male child was concealed. Doesn't say exactly, but the male child was concealed. So he left the male child, he left Krishna, Vasudeva Krishna, the son of Vasudeva is Vasudeva. He left Vasudeva Krishna by her side and took the female child. That was the second service. Be born the same evening at midnight, and went this place to that place. So Krishna made his appearance, and Yogamaya made her appearance, and there was a switcheroo. So now this narration from Nanda Vrindavan Champu is after the birth of Yashoda's child. The chronology is not seamless, but that's okay. It's a nice presentation. Mother Yashoda awoke amidst the joyous chattering of the elderly gopis. So she's not in prison, she has friends. And the other friends, they saw the child, they saw Mother Yashoda's awakening. Leaning over the bed, she admired her gorgeous son, but upon noticing her own reflection on Krishna's body, she imagined it another woman. Thinking that a witch had assumed her form to kidnap Krishna. Yashoda became bewildered and yelled, "Get out of here! Go away!" Madness of love. Spontaneously, she cried out to Nrsingadev to protect her precious son. Beholding Krishna's tender face, Yashoda showered tears of affection. She's in this state of madness of love of a mother for her newborn child. So then, due to Yashoda's intense love, personified bliss flowed from her breasts as steady streams of milk. After feeding her son, Yashoda gazed affectionately at him in wonder. Now there's going to be multiple wonders. This is Ananda Vrindavan Champu. This is Kavi Karnapur's kaviness, his poetic license. He has a license. He's very poetic. She saw her child's body as made of dazzling blue sapphires. His mouth resembled a red bimba fruit, and his hands and feet like exquisite rubies. Krishna's nails shone like precious gems. In this way, Yashoda thought her child was completely made of jewels. Poetry. It's okay. She then perceived that his naturally reddish lips looked like baduka flowers. His hands and feet resembled java flowers, and his nails looked like malika flowers. Seeing the marks of Srivasa on his chest, Yashoda thought it was breast milk that he had previously spilled out of his mouth. She tried unsuccessfully to remove these milk stains with the edge of her cloth. Kavi Karnapur, he's a poet. Observing the signs of Lakshmi, a small golden line on the left side of Krishna's chest, Yashoda thought, could this be a streak of lightning resting on a rain cloud? Or could it be the golden streaks marking a black gold testing stone? Sometimes Yashoda saw the curly, dark blue locks of baby Krishna. Now, most children, when they're born, they don't have baby locks, but Krishna was a little precocious. As Krishna's dark blue locks of baby Krishna, as a swarm of bumblebees surrounding his face. His two lotus eyes of Krishna looked like a pair of blue lotus buds. Poetry. Nice painting. His cheeks resembled two huge bubbles floating in a lake of liquefied blue sapphires. Krishna's attractive ears looked like a pair of fresh, unfurled leaves growing on a blue creeper. There she is, admiring his feet. And motherly affection, naturally, for Krishna, between Mother Jasoda. The elderly Vrajvasi ladies addressed Vrajaraj Nanda. Oh, most fortunate one, you have fathered a son. When Nanda Maharaj heard of his son's birth, he felt as if the dry lake of his heart had been blessed with a sudden downpour of nectar. The gentle sound of Krishna's voice removed all his grief and lamentation. These are very nice paintings. By seeing his glorious son, Nanda felt that he had attained happiness, perfection, and the fulfillment of all his desires. He stood motionless, stunned. For some time he remained in this semi-conscious state. Meeting that embodiment of bliss overwhelmed Nanda with immeasurable satisfaction. what's tomorrow going to be? Because this is not chronological. This little flow of Ananda Vrindavan Champu's appreciation, Krishna. But it's reasonably because Krishna's made his appearance in the prison house of Kamsa, and simultaneously Krishna's making his appearance in the home of Yashoda. But Vasudeva hasn't made his trip yet. So that part of the chronology is a little messed up. But it's nice, so we did it. And certainly, appreciation for our authors. Like Kaviraj, Krishnadas Kaviraj. His name was Krishnadas, but he was known as Kaviraj because he was the king of Kavis. And Kavi Karnapur is pretty good too. Just poetically describing. Now, the accuracy, Krishnadas Kaviraj, along with being poetic and being, very precise and masterful with language, it wasn't this kind of creative expression of poetry, but it's just his language was covering very, very dense, sometimes, philosophical points, and the dialogue between Lord Chaitanya and Ramananda Roy and so forth and so on. It takes up a capable poet to illuminate all these things. So tomorrow we'll go back to what Krishna is going to say after hearing both Vasudeva and Devaki and knowing their hearts. The parental side, and then the fear of Kamsa side, recognizing his divinity, and then so these different emotions are moving in their hearts, and they've expressed it, and Krishna's heard. Not that he didn't know before they expressed it, but they're expressing directly to him. So now he's going to respond to them and make a game plan to reciprocate with their desire. The fear of Kamsa desire. And he is fearless, and they know he's fearless, but they're irrational. They're carried by their parental affection, which makes them, in a practical sense, not consistent with his divinity. But that's okay. That's their parental affection. It's perfect. A certain kind of perfect. So I hope you all feel we're getting ourselves prepared for Krishna's Janmashtami. I kind of, in preparing and thinking about all of this, I wish all the devotees could get prepared for the celebration of Krishna's appearance day, because one can get lost in the festivities, and the Julan Yatra and this and the other thing and the other thing and the Prasadam, and like just this morning as we were leaving the temple, there's these men setting up tables and who knows what all for the festival, because a lot of people are going to come to the temple to see the deity and Abhishek and everything. So it can easily get lost in the activities, but the essence is what we're doing now. It's how glorious is what Krishna is doing. He's churning the hearts of these very dear devotees. I mean, what he's going to say tomorrow, who they were in their previous two lives, and the austerities they underwent to have the personality of Godhead as their son, and the ordeal that Vasudeva and Devaki have undergone because of Kamsa for his sake. But they have a very special privilege. He came at the request of the demigods to remove the demoniac kings, and he's going to do it. And there's a couple of fellows at the top of the list, and Kamsa is one of them. So there's a drama involved in dealing with Kamsa, and his devotees are involved in the drama. Okay, let's see if there's some discussion. Do you have haldi on your hand? What was the occasion? A marriage. Was it her marriage? Oh, okay. She's got saldi on her hands too. Look at that. Both front and back. You didn't get married, right? Did you have two? You have haldi on your hand? Ah. Okay. Okay. Yes. We have the microphone passed all the way back.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. First, an appreciation, and then I have a couple of questions. I was thinking, for a person with a hard-hearted, rock like a heart, even reaching confidential knowledge is beyond my capacity and, adhikar. And here you are sharing with us not just more confidential, but the most confidential knowledge of exchange between Krishna and his devotees, which is such condensed and thickened form of nectar that's flowing. And I'm hoping and praying that, this, as it keeps dripping down, it'll make a dent in my heart. So that's my prayer, and that's our appreciation. And we both were speaking last night that moving here 2 years ago was one of our best decisions. We keep hearing from you and the exchanges between Krishna and his devotees. So very, very grateful. Thank you very much. So the two questions...
I want to comment.
Yes.
I was looking at a 2013 presentation for Krishna Janmashtami, and there's pictures of honeycombs and honeybees, and that it's like, the dripping of the sweetness of Krishna's activities, including all this horrific stuff. It's very sweet. Go ahead.
One was about Srivatsa. The last time you were here, you were speaking from Canto 3, chapter 28, and in that one of the verses, it said it was curl of white hair on his chest, and here we see this line, and I've always wondered what the Srivatsa was, and it said also it's a mark of Lakshmi Devi.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. It's a mark of Lakshmi Devi. She's on his chest. So it's a mark. It's her. The mark of Lakshmi Devi. And it looks like this or that. There are different descriptions. A curly hair. What's a curly hair on the chest of a young boy or a little baby? It's Lakshmi Devi. It's mark of Srivatsa. Shri Vatsa. Yeah.
This other question is, just from a human experience, losing a child is tragic. What to speak of them being killed? What to speak of them being wantonly killed, one after the other? And while I'm thinking of that, we also heard from you that Devaki Deva Rupinyam, as you said in the first class, she is, in the Lord's internal energy, and I'm wondering, what made her continue, even though the babies were, they were killed again and again, and knowing that they would be killed by Kamsa. What was her motivation?
Well, we'll hear it tomorrow, but, she was qualified. So what's that qualification? That's the question. She had deep faith. So it was the eighth child, and the eighth child was protected. That she's making her case that he should not be seen by Kamsa. because Kamsa is wicked, and she has these two sides, the motherly and the transcendental. She has she's super qualified spiritually, and mother. She's qualified to be the mother in an intimate relationship of a mother to a child. She has that adhikar. So there are these emotions raging within her, the glorification and the protection, that don't match. He who has all the power that she knows that he has, he doesn't need to hide or be protected. But her motherly side is, so that's the rasa that she's living with. Different than Yashoda. She doesn't have that same understanding of his being the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's different. I mean, it's similar and it's different. They're both mothers of the same child. Something that we hear on Krishna Janmastami, the little, you can hear it more than once, that's fine. From Bhakti Sandarbha, Krishna Sandarbha, Jiva Goswami writes that different than what we've been saying, and even different than what he writes in Gopal Champu, when Krishna took shelter in the womb of Devaki, it was Vasudeva Krishna, and he's very explicit, Swayam Bhagavan Krishna also entered. Stay tuned. It contradicts what he writes in Gopal Champu and what we've been saying, but Swayam Bhagavan Krishna is in the womb of Devaki. Okay. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Maharaj, I wanted to ask, what is the relationship between our sadhana and Krishna revealing his pastimes to us? Because every time we hear it, there's a newer and fresher understanding. So, what is the science behind this?
What's the science behind it? That's your question?
Yes.
Well, in one word, it's purification. Or it's, say, unpack, what does that mean? There's coverings, layers of coverings of the soul. And as the layers of coverings of the soul through sadhana are removed, then there's a little more transparency of what's inside. Because not only is knowledge inside, the soul is, as Krishna is Satchit Ananda Vigraha, we also have those three in tiny quality, but it's covered. Chit is covered. Our capacity for knowledge is covered. And the relationship is through sadhana, there's cleansing or purification. And it's from the right source, of course. And then you align that purification with Krishna Tattva, the sound vibration of Krishna, then you get further realization, as long as you don't do a U-turn and go back to previous ways, or desist with laxity or deviation, or failing to be connected to Krishna purposefully by absorption in material stuff again. Forgetting Krishna. It can happen. But barring that misfortune, we stay on the path of sadhana, which is what your question is. And sadhana has a power. Sadhana bhakti has power. Even abhas bhakti has power. What to speak of striving for purity. So that's the relationship. The knowledge that's within us becomes awakened, and illumined by the process of hearing from the right source, and be consistent in hearing from the right source, and that's part of our sadhana. And slowly, slowly, it's like the rising of the sun. The darkness is dissipated, and you start to see things that you couldn't see in darkness.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. When there is a child born to a king in a palace, it will be a big festival, whatnot.
Big deal.
So, but I was thinking why Krishna was chose to be born,
In prison.
and then put the parents, and especially Vaikuntha means no anxiety, as you were telling earlier.
But what does that mean? No anxiety, no material anxiety.
No material anxiety. But now
There's transcendental anxiety. Welcome.
Yeah. So that was two questions: why he was chose to be in the jail, and then the parents in anxiety. What
Well,
was
the
the
parents
reason?
in anxiety, it's
Transcendental.
transcendental. The affinity for the source of everything is not it to the worldly eye and mind. It may look like something negative. The transcendental, it's the ecstasy. There are different categories or ways of giving labels to different types of ecstasy, but it's a type of ecstasy. It gives great spike or rise to absorption in thought of Krishna. And why he chose the prison? I mean, he can choose anything, so why not prison? It sets the stage for, what misfortune. But he's not seeing misfortune. There's in these prayers by both Vasudeva and Devaki, there's no unhappiness for him. There's no good fortune, ill fortune for him. It's all transcendental. So it's a leela to spike or to give rise to a certain intensified emotion for his devotees. Particularly for Vasudeva and Devaki, but so the circumstance was very intense. Gosh, 6 children. Child number 8. He's showing them his divinity. No worries. And we heard yesterday the prayers of Vasudeva, very elegant, very elevated. Yet it's moving his heart in that way also because of the circumstance. In prison, Kamsa's intimidation and threat, and he's already shown he means it. He'll kill. Anyway, it's part of moving the rasa features of the hearts of his devotees. Father knows best. He knows how to churn those emotions. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you for the very wonderful, inspiring description. I was in the Krishna book, Prabhupada says how Vasudeva and Devaki, later on when Kansa apologizes to them, they forgive him for killing the 6 children. And since we were discussing on Vasudeva and Devaki, I wanted to ask, how is it that a devotee can have that forgiveness?
Gosh. It's otherworldly. There's no hesitation. They weren't holding on to anything. Have you had conversations with people that are holding on to stuff? And, they're holding on to stuff. They'll say I'm not holding on to stuff. And so, what to do? We just keep pouring honey. It's soften Parsana. You soften the heart with drops of honey. You keep softening and keep softening and keep softening and keep softening. And here comes this honey. Comes this sound vibration. It's similar to his question of connection between sadhana and realization. Purification is needed, and so we don't give up on people that are holding on to something. We just continue to be, as best we can, a friend and understanding and compassionate, and trying to encourage them to grow with sweetness and honey and all those nice things. At the same time, having a sense of empathy with their difficulty, or difficulties, plural. Sometimes people just get really worked over by multiple things. Anyway, be a beacon of light, the light of the Bhagavad. That's a big feature of what we'll do on Krishna Janmashtami. Light of the Bhagavad. Prabhupada teaching to the world how to get on the other side of misfortune, the emotion of misfortune. Because there's plenty of it in this dark world. Yeah, way in the back. Do you have something? Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. You mentioned in yesterday's class, and today it was mentioned again, Mother Devaki is internal potency of Krishna.
I'm listening.
And is Mother Yashoda also?
Yeah. The commentary explaining that statement is all of the associates of Krishna are manifestations of. As you know, we do make some distinctions, but sometimes those distinctions are blurred, and they're of his spiritual potency. They're manifestations of his spiritual potency in different categories and subcategories. In that sense, all of the associates. Okay. Yeah, there's a few hands up. Right behind you.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Wonderful pastimes of Lord Krishna. And my question to you is, Kamsa, you said, or there was Yogamaya, the second child of Yashoda.
Yes.
Who was Yogamaya, and she transformed herself into Durga, or she's an expansion of, Durga is an expansion of Yogamaya. So how did Kamsa had this good fortune to touch Yogamaya and see Yogamaya?
Well,
or Durga?
She has capacity. Nice question. Those that aren't qualified will see something else and touch something else. So she then transformed herself into Mahamaya, or known by many names to that section, Durga, etc., 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 known throughout the land by different names. So she transformed herself because of the attitude and the personality of Kamsa. So he doesn't have the adhikar to directly contact Yogamaya.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification. And just another general question. You said Anand Vrindavan Champu. Since Yashodamaya and Nanda Maharaj was actually glorifying Krishna,
Yeah.
and we also heard previously that Yashodamaya was so tired that she didn't even know
Yeah.
that she gave birth to 2 children.
Yes, yeah.
So this is like separate separate.
No, she woke up. The section that I was being recited was she woke up. She was asleep. She passed out from childbirth.
Right.
And then she was resting. And then she woke up. That's where we entered.
So this is when she woke up. So when she woke up, I thought Vasudev has not brought Krishna yet.
No. That's not correct.
Okay. So he was there. Okay.
Because that happened when she was asleep.
Thank you. Okay. That's it. Hare Krishna.
There you go.
A comment and a question, Guru Maharaj. I was riveted by a statement in one of your slides. It said her body was shaking,
Yeah.
referring to Devaki.
Yeah.
And I was reminded of, it's something that has stayed with me for the last year and a half, a statement that Radhika Raman Prabhu made in Gita Nagari last year, explaining Anukampa, how Krishna trembles with his devotee. And here we see that the devotee is trembling in emotions, with emotions for Krishna. So also in Alachua, you were explaining there was this whole discussion about how Krishna does not suffer with our sufferings, even though he's the Paramatma.
Yeah,
in
that
our-
was a very subtle discussion. Go ahead.
And that's of a lot of interest to me because empathy is not getting entangled and enmeshed in another person's suffering, but still having the ability to tremble with the pains of another and the celebrations of another.
Well, anything that is in our purview is a reflection
Yes.
of the reality, and then there's reality, and we can like look up to these narrations and admire and wonder what's that like. Juna Jivana likes asking the questions like that. What's it feel like to be in transcendence? So, but the pastimes of Krishna help us understand, and the commentary help us understand the pastimes of what's reality. And we can have that. I'm pausing. There's already a topic assigned for the one of the universities when the university season starts up, and one of those topics is going to be finding happiness. Then what's happiness? And how do you find that if you don't know what it is? And you may mistake something that's not happiness to be happiness. So anyway, reality is elusive for those that are covered, and therefore this mercy, that going back to Varsana's comment or question, receiving mercy is necessary so that the coverings and the hardness of our heart, etc., can be lifted, and then reality can become a part of our experience. Kabe habi bolo se di narmar. When will that come? But we carry on faith. So I'm kind of going all over the place. I'm not really focusing on what your question or your comment is. So if you want me to say something more specific on what your comment is, you better say your comment again.
I'm complete with that particular thread, Guru Maharaj.
Okay.
The question.
Yeah.
The question that comes to me is, there was a large section in the prayers where Devaki was describing how time does not control Krishna. And yet it seems that Krishna agrees to subordinate himself to time.
No.
So what about, like he says, yada yada hi dharmasya, whenever there is, and he seems to like, at the end of Kali Yuga, Kalki will appear. Or after 125 years.
But that's his plan. He's not subordinating himself to anything. He's fully independent. Nice try. You get the microphone, just use it.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Maharaj. It's a clarification I'm looking for.
Clarification.
Yeah. It's about the Yogamaya role in this story. I'm a little confused. So the first thing Yogamaya did is she...
Transferred Balaram.
Yes, to the Rohini, Mother Rohini. Yeah. And she took place of Balaram in Devaki Mataji's womb?
No, the second service was, I'm going to appear as the 8th child. You appear simultaneously in the womb of Yashoda. Same time. So that was the second service.
So Mother Devaki never gave birth to the 7th child?
That's correct. The assumption, there was a rumor she had a miscarriage.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
You got a microphone already.
Hi, Krishna Guru Maharaj. My question is, Kamsa killed 6 children of Devaki, and who are they? Who were they, and why they get brutally killed like this?
That's a long story. Do you know that she got her 6 children back?
No.
Oh, yes. She heard, Devaki heard, I heard, somebody sent me a text message that you brought back the dead son of Sandipani Muni. Can you bring back my 6 sons? It's in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it's in the Krishna book. So Krishna goes and brings them back and presents them to her. There's a very beautiful painting. They're still in little children forms, and she's fondling her little 6 children. And each of them, there's a backstory of how what happened before they were the six children, and there was some misfortune, and they were in that situation where they were killed right after they were born. This is a long story, but you can find it in Krishna book or find it in the Bhagavatam. Okay.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. It's my practical application question.
Okay.
I second Varsana Mataji. It's beautiful images and such splendid descriptions. Hearing from your mouth with your own appreciation, it's like I don't need anything else in my life. It just feels so complete and blissful. As you mentioned about these devotees who might be taking care of the services can completely get lost. While the class was going on, I was thinking of all of them, and I was like, oh, how I wish all of us, all the devotees, be able to be here and hear this in person. And I just wanted to request you to help us. I have heard a lot of stories how for New York Radha Yatra, hours and hours, not even present in the main Radha Yatra, you were in the background preparing all that. I feel it needs a lot of maturity and spiritual strength to be able to do that without getting emotions high and like shouting at each other. So just wanted to hear, while we understand the importance of preparing ourselves, immersed in these beautiful descriptions of Lord Krishna's appearance, it's also important to serve in different capacity for the biggest festival of ISKCON.
Of course. You want the Bhagavad Gita verse? Engage in your prescribed duty and always think of me. I wasn't raining on the parade of preparing everybody to do needful service. It's while you're doing the needful service, preparation, because it's an offering, the service is an offering to Krishna. It's not about show, it's about an offering to Krishna. So, you feeling discouraged?
I was, things are happening. We are in the middle of things. So my question is coming from that place. When we don't have that sufficient grounding and strength, instead of preparing and in that mode of service, we can completely go to a different space and, the relationships can get strained. So I was kind of pained by that, Guru Maharaj. So just wanted to...
Well, this is Premananda's question from this morning. So there's no substitute. One of my one-liners is, there's no substitute for purity. So doing, and drop. But it's not just doing. It's the consciousness behind. And the consciousness behind is established and is sustained by hearing. It's not an either or. Okay? Yes. You get the last question.
Just two curiosity, quick questions, Guru Maharaj. One was like, what is the qualitative or quantitative difference between Vasudev Krishna and Swayam Bhagavan Krishna? Is there any or no?
Oh, you'll hear it on Janmashtami Day. Oh, you won't be here.
Sorry, but I will hear the recording.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, this is Rupa Goswami. There's 4 Madhuryas. Venu Madhurya, Rupa Madhurya, there's 4 Madhuryas. And those are qualifications that demark Vasudev Krishna from Swayam Bhagavan Krishna. The sweetness of his everything. Those 4 categories of things.
And second question was like, we always hear that when Krishna comes, his potencies also come. But this time, I felt like I heard this first time that when Krishna came, so Yogamaya, like her personification also came. But like, what about other potencies? Do their personifications also?
Yeah.
Everyone.
You the whole shebang.
Has unlimited potencies, so
and there may not be manifest, they may be within, and then when they're needed they manifest. But they manifest personified, just like the Brahma Vimohan Lila, that each of the forms of Vishnu, there were his potencies by name but also by form, and they were offering prayers. It wasn't just an energy zapping somewhere. There were personalities. offering prayers. They're all persons. And we may not see them or they may not be manifest, etc. But the energy has, behind everything is person. And the energies included. The Supreme Person and the energies of the Supreme Person are persons.
Thank you very much.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.